What's up, everybody? I am live with this week's episode. Just gonna get things set up and we'll be ready to go. Hope your day is going well. Got a lot to talk about today. I actually bumped into someone I hadn't seen since Israel today, which was nice to see. It was nice to see. Just start in a moment. Okay. Let us begin. What's up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of Benny and the Booth podcast. On this week's episode, we've got MLB Weekly Recap, a big brawl that happened in recently this week, and a broadcaster that got suspended for one of the wackiest things I've ever seen in my life, and some other news outside of sports that relate to this podcast. All coming up. Let's get right into it. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to episode 87 of Benny and the Booth podcast. Thank you so much for the support to this point. I very much do appreciate it. Side things I do want to mention before we start this week's episode, I'm actually going to be going back to Landers for at least the fall. So starting in September, while I still do episodes, will be a bit choppier of a schedule. Then I'm going to be off for a few weeks. And it's going to be very interesting for September through in October. But I will always keep you guys updated so you're aware of when I'm posting, when I'm not posting. But just want to give you that heads up right away. Also, I'm going to be at tomorrow night's Mets-Cubs game. So if you're going to be there, maybe try and come find me. But I am going to be there for tomorrow night's game, which we'll see what happens with who's going to win that game. But either way, just wanted to put those all out there. And of course, still have the promo code for early access to the Momento Live Sports Scrapbook app in the description at the ball with code at the ballpark. Go to the description, use the code, download the app, and get access to the app today. Let's get right into it. Let's start with this Orioles broadcaster thing. So recently, the Orioles were in Tampa, and they were on the verge of, I believe, sweeping the series. And apparently they had like some bad record of like sweeping series in Tampa or something like that recently. And the Orioles broadcast to mention it, which that's normal because that's just, you're always going to point out these kind of historical notes when you're broadcasting a game. Problem is, the Orioles for some reason decided to suspend said broadcaster for doing that. Who is the broadcaster on the thumbnail, Kevin Brown. Not former MLB player Kevin Brown, or I don't think it's the same person. But it suspended him, which I'm just like, what? Like, why? Like, it's stupid. I'm sorry. But there are things to suspend or, like, you can't come back for broadcasting. Like what happened with Tom Brennan a few years ago and during COVID season, which I'm not going to go into that. The A's broadcaster thing, that makes sense. And a few other stuff, okay, that makes sense. What happened with the Orioles broadcaster does not make sense. I'm sorry, Orioles, you did something wrong this year that's not on the field. I'm sorry, that is wrong. But yeah, that was the whole thing with that. If you want to learn more about it, you can look online. I didn't even know about it till I was watching the Mets-Cubs broadcast last night via SNY because you can't use MLB.TV for when Cubs are playing I can't use it when the Cubs are playing in New York, so I have to use the listen through the New York broadcast, and they had mentioned it. I was like, oh, this is interesting. But yeah, just stupid, pathetic story of baseball this year. Anyways, and then there's Tim Anderson and Jose Ramirez whole thing. Basically, White Sox Guardians on Saturday, Jose Ramirez hit a double, and I guess got hit hard while sliding into second as an attempted tag from Tim Anderson, and a whole-out fight came out. Tim Anderson tried to punch Jose Ramirez, but missed. Jose Ramirez literally knocked out Tim Anderson. Whole brawl ensued. A whole bunch of players got ejected, or I think just Jose Ramirez and Tim Anderson got ejected. But a whole bunch of players were suspended or fined. Managers both got suspended for one game. A whole thing just came out of it, and it's just whack and crazy. And then things got wackier. Hold on 1 minute. I just want to pull this up. Things got even wackier from there. As if that wasn't wacky enough, it wasn't the end of the wackiness. Also, one thing I do want to mention, Shohei Ohtani's kind of on, though I say with quotation marks, Triple Crown watch. Not surprised for what he's done this year, but he's third in batting average, first in home runs, and second in RBIs. And for those that don't know what Triple Crown is, basically if you're first in batting average, home runs, and RBIs in your league, for batting, of course, you get the batting triple crown. Very rare that's happened. The last one was Miggy in 2012. Pitching is wins, ERA, and one other stat. It hasn't happened since like Verlander in like 2011 or something like that. But yeah, it's very rare that happens. But Ohtani's on watch. The last serious watch that happened was Christian Yelich in the National League. Was on watch in 2018, but he did not end up getting it. Hold on 1 minute. I just want to pull up all the suspension and then this crazy thing I saw. Oh yeah, and also they were selling Down Goes Anderson Guardians jerseys somewhere, which is just hilarious. Class A White Sox manager Pedro Grifol, Terry Francona Guardians manager Mike Sarbaugh, who's like their first base or one of their coaches, all got suspended 1 game, whole bunch of other suspensions. Hold on, I want to find this Guardians minor league team that had this thing. Hold on, give me a moment. I really want to find this. I'm gonna have to do this. I'm not gonna be able to show you, but I still want to at least say what it was. Hold on. I'm gonna skim through quickly to find this. I'm not wasting too much time. Here we go. Here we go. Yeah, so this is from Lake County Captains, who's like one of their single A teams that actually is right near where I live in Cleveland. Jose Ramirez Appreciation Week. All fans named Tim get a free ticket to sit down on the grass. Wear your Ramirez jersey and get a free Bam Bam in the cargo hold. Home Run Punch Derby, Punch Out competition in the 80s arcade. Funny thing they're doing from the whole thing. Just hilarious. But either way, that's the whole Tim Anderson, Jose Ramirez thing. And now to the rest of the recap. Cubs came back from down 5-2 to score 16 runs overall, making 36 runs in 2 nights. First time since 1897, the Cubs 16-6 win over the Reds. Jamer had another 4-hit game, had 8 hits in his first 2 games with the Cubs, first in a long time. Marlins won a game when they trailed by 5+ runs for the first time since August 23rd of 2019 and 9-8 win over the Phillies. In 12, they scored from 9th to the 12th innings in a row. One at least, I think either one or at least one in each inning. Slade Cecconi, Arizona Diamondbacks pitcher in his major league debut, first major league strikeout was a ball off the knob of Lamont Wade Jr.'s bat that was caught by the catcher. And Giants 4-2 lost versus in a not Giants. Diamondbacks 4-2 lost to the Giants. Michael Lorenzen made his debut with Phillies. 1 minute. Sorry about that. went 8 innings, got the win, giving up 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts, and the Phillies 4-2 win over the Marlins. Max Scherzer in his Rangers debut got the win, going in 6 innings, giving up 7 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, 9 strikeouts, and 5-3 win over the White Sox. Flaherty in his Orioles debut pitched phenomenal, going 6 innings, getting the win, giving up 4 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts. First Orioles pitcher debut since Jeremy Hellickson on August 2nd, 2017 versus Kansas City Royals with 7 scoreless to go 6 plus with 1 earned run or less. Fourth most strikeouts in Orioles debut since 1954 and most since Bud Norris, 8 strikeouts on August 1st, 2013 against the Astros. 7-1 fourth leads Braves over the Cubs, 8-0 on combined 4-hit shutout between Max Fried making his return to the Braves, pitching after being injured, Brad Hand, Joe Jimenez, and Colin McHugh. James McCann had a 3-hit, 5 RBI game against his old team in the Mets in a 10-3 Orioles win. Davis Schneider in his first Major League bat hit a home run for his first Major League home run in a Blue Jays 7-3 win over the Red Sox. Jordan Montgomery in his Rangers debut went 6 innings, giving up 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts, getting the win in a Rangers 6-2 W over the Marlins. With go-ahead RBI single in 8th, Eugenio Suarez passes Edgar Martinez 1995 for 10 straight games with an RBI in Mariners 9-7 win over the Angels. I have no idea if that continued or not. Jose Altuve had career homer number 200 via solo home run in the third. In Astros 3-1 loss to the Yankees. Kyle Gibson got his 100th career win in a 7-3 Orioles win over the Mets. Pete Alonso had a 2-homer, 6 RBI game last night against the Cubs, an 11-2 Mets win. Pablo Reyes walk-off grand slam in the Red Sox 6-2 win over the Royals after U-chain controversy on check swing that he went, but they said he didn't, and caused the Orioles manager to get ejected. Down 3-2, Giants scored 6 to beat the Angels 8-3. And down 5-0 in the fourth, Dodgers scored 13 unanswered runs in the 13-7 win over the San Diego Padres. That's it for this week for the news part of this week's recap. Now for standings, I'm not even going to talk about win streaks or lose streaks. I'm just going to talk by teams with how many games back they are in their division, because that's really just more what matters now as we get into the end stretch of the playoff race. But I'm not going to include teams that are I would say not in their division race anymore. Orioles in first place, of course. Rays at 7-42. Rays in second place, 68-46. 3 games back at first. Toronto 64-57 games back at first. Boston 58-54, 12 games back at first. And the Yankees 58-55, 12.5 games back at first. Twins are in first place at Central at 16-54. Guardians 5.5 back at 54-59. Tigers back 10 at 49-63. White Sox and Royals are past the point of still considered a chance to make a race in the division. In the AL West, Rangers in first place 67-46. Astros 3 games back at 64-49. Mariners 6.5 back at 16-52. Angels 11.5 back at 56-58. In the NL East, Braves first place 70-40, Phillies 61-51, 10 games back, Marlins 58-56, 14 games back. The rest I don't consider in the race still. For the NL Central, the Brewers in first place 61-54, followed by the Reds 16-55, a game and a half back, followed by the Cubs 58-55, 2.5 back, and the Pirates 51-61, 9 games back. Cardinals I don't consider in the race anymore. And then for the NL West, Dodgers in first place, 65-46, followed by the Giants 4 games back, and the Diamondbacks 9 games back. I don't consider the rest still in it for the division. Wild card, I'm going to start diving into. The Rays are first in AL wild card, 4 games ahead. Astros a half a game ahead in second. Blue Jays in third. Mariners are 3 games back in fourth. Red Sox are 5 games back in fifth. Yankees are 5.5 back in sixth. Angels are 8 back in seventh. Guardians are 9.5 back in 8th. And the rest I don't consider in contention for the wild card in the American League. For the National League, the Giants the first 3 ahead, followed by the Phillies 2.5 back ahead, followed by the Reds in third. Cubs a game back. Marlins in fourth. Marlins in fifth, a game and a half back. Diamondbacks in sixth, 2 back. Padres in seventh, 4 back. Mets in 7.5 back at 8. Pirates are 9, 7.5 back, and 10 are the Nationals at 9.5 back. For today's games, the Nationals and Phillies are playing right now, top fourth and tied game. Then they have a game later on. Rays at Cardinals at 6:40. Twins at Tigers at 6:40. Marlins at Reds at 6:40. Orioles at Astros at Orioles at 7:05. Braves at Pirates at 7:05. Cubs at Mets at 7:10. Royals at Red Sox at 7:10. Blue Jays at Guardians at 7:10. Yankees at White Sox at 8:10. Marlins at Brewers at 8:10. Giants at Angels at 9:38. Dodgers at Diamondbacks 9:40. Padres and Mariners at 9:40, and Rangers at A's at 9:40. That is this week's episode. That is this week's episode of the podcast. Let's wrap things up. Thank you so much for watching this week's episode of Benny in the Booth podcast. On next time, which either will be Wednesday of next week or will be in 2 weeks, we'll have the MLB weekly recap. We'll have the Mets game I'm going to tonight, and then the Reds game I'm going to in Cincinnati a week from today, and whatever else happens between now and then. Thank you so much for watching and listening. If you're new on YouTube, leave a like, hit the subscribe button, and leave a notification button so you can find when I go live and or post a new video. If you are new on audio, follow the podcast, leave a review, and notification button so don't find when I post them there. Thank you so much for watching and listening, and I will see you in next week's episode, episode 88. Bye-bye.